I'm looking at a patent from April 14th, 1896. U.S. patent number 558-393. It's titled, Flaked Cereals and Process of Preparing Same. This single document changed how the world eats breakfast. But the story behind it involves two brothers who couldn't stand each other, a health sanitarium in Michigan, and an accident with stale wheat that nobody planned. One brother wanted to heal people through bland vegetarian diets. The other wanted to make money by giving people what they actually wanted to eat. Their fight created the modern cereal industry. And I want to show you exactly how it happened, with every date verified. Battle Creek, Michigan, 1876. Dr. John Harvey Kellogg, born February 26, 1852, becomes superintendent of the Battle Creek Sanitarium at just 24 years old. He's a Seventh-day Adventist physician, completely obsessed with digestive health, vegetarian nutrition, and what he calls biologic living. The sanitarium isn't a hospital. It's a health resort for wealthy patients who pay to follow J.H.'s strict regimen. No meat, no spices, no caffeine, no alcohol, no tobacco, and definitely no sugar. His younger brother, Will Keith Kellogg, born April 7, 1860, joins as business manager in the early 1880s. WK is the one who makes the place run. He manages the books, orders supplies, supervises staff, and works grueling hours for minimal pay. Here's what happened on a day in 1894. The exact date isn't recorded, but we know it was that year. The brothers are experimenting with boiled wheat dough for patient meals. They cook a large batch, then get called away to handle some sanitarium emergency. The wheat sits overnight. They cook a large batch, then get called away to handle some sanitarium emergency. The wheat sits overnight. But stale wheat behaves differently than fresh dough. It doesn't form a continuous sheet. It shatters into individual flakes, one thin, crispy flake per wheat berry. They toast the flakes to see if heat improves them. Patients try them, and patients love them. The flakes are crispy, easy to chew, and completely unlike the heavy porridges they've been eating. J.H. immediately sees commercial potential. He files for a patent to protect the process. On April 14, 1896, the U.S. Patent Office grants patent number 558,003-93 for flaked cereals and process of preparing same. The patent covers wheat, but the brothers quickly discover that corn works better. Corn flakes have superior flavor and hold their texture longer in milk. This corn version becomes the product. By the early 1900s, the brothers are fighting over one ingredient, sugar. J.H. absolutely refuses to add it to the flakes. He's not just running a business, he's running a health institution built on principles of pure, unstimulated digestion. But WK is tasting the competition. Other entrepreneurs in Battle Creek have seen the flake idea and started their own companies. Most notably C.W. Post, who launches Grape Nuts in 1897 and Post Toasties in 1904. These competitors add sugar, and consumers overwhelmingly prefer the sweetened versions. WK sees the market data. He knows the sanitarium's unsweetened flakes will never compete at scale. He wants to commercialize, mass produce, and add the sugar that customers want. On February 19, 1906, W.K. Kellogg breaks away and founds the Battle Creek Toasted Corn Flake Company with an initial investment of $35,000, about $1.2 million in today's dollars. He's 45 years old, and he's spent 25 years working in his brother's shadow. Now he's done. He adds sugar to his recipe, not a lot, but enough to make the flakes palatable to average American families. He obsesses over quality control. Every flake must be uniformly golden, perfectly crisp, and consistent box to box. Batches that don't meet his standard get thrown out. He's no longer working for his brother, he's competing against him. And he's about to outmarket everyone in Battle Creek, including J.H.'s own sanitarium brand. W.K. Kellogg understands something his brother never grasped: the power of branding in a crowded market. In 1907, he makes a critical decision. He starts signing every single box with his own handwritten signature, W.K. Kellogg, in red script. It's a personal guarantee of authenticity and quality. Within a few years, that signature becomes one of the most recognized autographs in America, right alongside John Hancock's. In 1909, he pioneers another marketing innovation, the Cereal Box Prize. He prints funny Jungleland moving pictures booklets, illustrated flip animation stories, and includes one free in every box. Kids beg their parents to buy more boxes so they can collect the whole set. This is modern food marketing being invented in real time, and it works spectacularly. The company expands at an aggressive pace. 1914, Kellogg opens a manufacturing plant in London, Ontario, Canada, the first production facility outside the United States, built to serve the Canadian market and avoid import tariffs. 1922, the company officially renames itself Kellogg Company, dropping the unwieldy Battle Creek Toasted Corn Flake Company name to reflect a growing product line that now includes All Bran, launched in 1916, Souths, and other grain products. 1938, Kellogg opens a massive factory in Stretford, Manchester, England, bringing American-style ready-to-eat cereal culture to the United Kingdom and positioning for European expansion. By the end of the 1930s, Kellogg's is a household name on 2 continents, employing thousands and producing millions of boxes annually. The breakfast table is changing, and Kellogg's is leading that change. Before Kellogg's became ubiquitous, breakfast in America and Europe meant cooking. You made oatmeal on the stove, you fried eggs and bacon, you baked bread. It took time, often 30 to 45 minutes of active kitchen work. Kellogg's Flakes were revolutionary because they were ready to eat, required zero cooking skill, and were shelf-stable for months. You opened a box, poured milk, and you were finished in 90 seconds. This mattered enormously as America urbanized through the 1910s and 1920s. Factory workers needed to eat and get to their shifts. Women entering the workforce in larger numbers needed breakfast shortcuts. Middle-class families wanted to spend less time cooking and more time on other morning routines. By the mid-1920s, ready-to-eat cereal was fundamentally reshaping the morning routine across all economic classes. The Kellogg invention didn't just create a product category. It created time that could be reallocated to work, education, and family. That's the real revolution. W.K. Kellogg established the W.K. Kellogg Foundation on June 25, 1930, with an initial gift of $66 million in Kellogg Company stock, worth over $1 billion in today's dollars. It was his way of ensuring the wealth generated by breakfast cereal circulated back into public health, education, and child welfare. J.H. Kellogg died on December 14, 1943, at age 91, still running the Battle Creek Sanitarium, still preaching his no sugar, no stimulation gospel to the end. W.K. Kellogg died on October 6, 1951, at age 91, having built a company that fed tens of millions of people daily, across dozens of countries. The brothers never reconciled, they barely spoke in the final decades of their lives. But their conflict drove both the invention and the industry it created. On October 2, 2023, Kellogg Company completed a corporate split into 2 separate entities. Kellanova, focused on international snacks and plant-based foods, and W.K. Kellogg Co., focused on North American cereal. The 1894 Flake experiment is still evolving 129 years later, and breakfast is still being reinvented, one box at a time. I started with a patent dated April 14, 1896. That single patent, U.S. patent number 558-393, turned stale wheat into a global industry worth tens of billions of dollars. If you want to verify any date I mentioned in this video, the 1876 superintendent appointment, the 1894 accidental discovery, the 1906 company founding, the 1930 foundation establishment, the 2023 corporate split, I've linked primary sources and historical records in the description below. The Kellogg story is about more than cereal. It's about how accidents become innovations when the right person recognizes the opportunity. It's about how a bitter fight between 2 brothers can end up feeding the world. And it's about how a simple idea, making breakfast faster, can reshape daily life for billions of people across more than a century.